tier ranking, the top 25 right wings, and there we go. You see a lot of the candidates up on the screen there. Let's get this properly situated, and we'll go now. When you talk about the players that are on that list, obviously, we're going to start with Nikita Kucherov. He belongs in that S tier. David Pastrnak belongs in that S tier. These are guys that are going, fourth to eighth, depending upon the draft, usually. What do we? So Rantanen too. He's still a top 10 pick. Are we okay? Still throwing him in here amongst the right wings? We're cool.
I would put him in there. I mean, he's on a great team. He's going to get lots of chances to generate. He's going to be able to rack up points. I don't think him losing McKinnon is going to hurt him like to the point where he's not in the S class. He's still elite on his own.
All right. So now this is where it starts to get interesting because you do have to draw a division between S and A. I can make an argument for William Nylander belonging in the top. I could even make an argument from Mitch Marner, but for the interest of this, where are we drawing the line?
That's it for me. I would have Nylander and Marner kick off the A group. That's it. I don't think they are. I mean, maybe Marner can flirt with the S, but it would be so hard for him to top what he's already done in Toronto. Maybe he puts up similar numbers in Vegas. I could also see him taking maybe a slight step back in terms of production with Vegas, but I don't see him in the same class as those three guys.
Listen, if they're going to make the argument against him, it's that he doesn't break 30 goals all that often, 27, 26 the last 2 years, although he had 30, 35 before that. But he's going to get you. I mean, he had 75 assists last year, usually get you in that 50 to 60 family. I could live with Marner being S tier. Nylander's only going a couple of picks behind Rantanen, and that's the only reason where it's like, is that where we draw on the line? Because, I mean, 45, 39 last year, 40, 58, 40, 47 the last 3 years. He's consistently been a 40 guy, we'll say.
That is correct. Now, here's the one problem with Nylander. As I was digging into some of the numbers a little bit deeper, Willie Nylander is a great candidate to have a down season for a couple of reasons here. A, the Toronto Maple Leafs lost a 100-point player, and they did not replace him. Like they went out and they got some quarters, but they didn't replace the dollar that is Mitch Marner. And Willie Nylander last year, so career high in goals. He finished with 250, I think it's 53 shots, but he shot 17%, which is 4% better than his career number. So anytime you see a player where his shot volume drops, but his goal production goes up and his shooting percentage skyrockets, he is a great candidate to obviously have some regression. And that's because that's how the world works here. So if you move him down to his career average, that he's below 40 goals. And Nylander, yes, he could still be a great playmaker, but he's not out there to throw his weight around. He doesn't block shots. I am a little concerned about the shot volume because Mitch Marner made it happen. He's also probably going to play on a line with John Tavares and who knows who. So
Domi?
Well, Domi's hurt. So let's find out who's going to plug that hole for the minute. But the Leafs are missing a little bit of depth in their top six. And I just don't know. Some question marks started to come up in my head as I started to dig deeper into this. So I can't put him in the S class. I think he's a great A player. I think he could definitely produce. But in terms of fantasy perspective, if you're bidding on him at the highest number, it's going to be really hard for him to return that value at where he's going right now.
Also throwing up the tier ranking disclaimer ticker at the bottom again from a fantasy perspective here on the ice. But yeah, we'd still be drawing the line. But I can be sold on that. I think that's fair. For Marner, until he consistently breaks 30, maybe he becomes that guy in Vegas. I don't see it though. So we're in the A tier now, and I don't have any problem throwing Sam Reinhart in here. He absolutely belongs with those guys. Also, center eligibility, shoots the puck, power play stud. I mean, are we thinking about putting him ahead of Nylander or Marner, or is he firmly entrenched right behind Marner?
I mean, we're splitting hairs here. I could put him
Yeah.
anywhere in that position just because, I mean, he's so good. Again, the problem with Reinhardt, the shot volume has never been there in his career. Like he's not a guy who's going to shoot the puck 350 times anyway. So you're always kind of hesitant because if those goals don't go in, right? But he does so many other things so well that like he's fine where he is. I could leave him there. I could be swayed anyway to put him anywhere in the A class, basically.
So Subway to Shea checking in. Parallel out of Ant Rivera 86 is how I had the start of my list going with those five. So far, so good. Ant's absolutely signing off on that. So, all right. So Reinhardt saying, oh, let's jump ahead in the line a little bit. Because we had the news about Matthew Tkachuk and miss a decent amount of time here. And we have talked about this on previous weeks where like it does hurt. He's a guy I was not taking in in mock drafts or in real drafts because we know he's been playing banged up when he does play, and they may give him time off anyway here and there just to mitigate that. Here he is, at least till December, they're liking you. So let's say about American Thanksgiving is when you might see him start skating again or a little before that. 2 months isn't nothing. That's 2 months of the fantasy season. So Matthew Tkachuk, obviously his ability would have him in the A tier, but now with the news of him missing a couple of months, where are we putting him? B tier? Is he even a C tier candidate? Like I said, 2 months isn't nothing, but there's still a lot of track left after that. But then there's the injury risk where you want to keep him fresh for the playoffs. So you're going to give him random nights off even after he gets back.
I believe that they're going to take it easy with him, and to a certain extent, right? So he had sports hernia surgery, right? He's got I think it's an abductor injury or something, or like an oblique or something like that. Like he's beat up. He was beat up coming out of the Four Nations. He took as much time as possible. Probably wanted to avoid the surgery. Played in the playoffs, completely banged up, and like that is 2 months is like best case scenario. And then he's got to get skating again. The way that he plays, how effective is he going to be? I can't find a reason to want to reach on him unless I'm getting a crazy discount on him. But in the C tier, he's probably turning around round 4, round 5 in a 12-team league, which is a fair value for him.
It'll be interesting when we do today's mock to see how far he falls. And that's also if some people aren't always caught up on the latest news. So we'll see how that affects his ranking there. But yeah, I was already hesitant to take him. And now he would have to, what round do I say, okay, I'm taking him now? I don't know yet. I have to evaluate that a little bit more. But he was a guy I was avoiding anyway. So I don't even know if there is a round where I'm taking him. We already knew he's, and understandably the way the guy plays and how much he's played. Yeah, his body just needs some time to relax, read a book by the pool, something. So yeah, to me that it hurts his value significantly. So I'm okay with putting him in the C tier. Now, one of your pals here from the Minnesota Wild, Matt Boldy, are we throwing him in the A tier or is he beginning the B tier?
A tier. A tier, absolutely. He's right there. He's there with
right.
Kirill. Early, listen, training camp just started. Stupid early, right, for anything, but he was skating on a line with Kirill Kaprizov and Marco Rossi. So, I mean, it doesn't get better than that for him.
Yeah, I got no issue with that. And, he's a guy that's on the rise, too. We still haven't seen the best of Matt Boldy yet. And let's face it, Kaprizov, when healthy, he's going to get the attention of other teams' top pairings. Not that he still can't produce beyond, despite that, but that does give Boldy some better opportunities there if he's away from him. So, next up, let's talk about the newest captain of the New York Rangers, Mr. JT Miller. That's a babyface JT Miller there in that picture from his first stop with the Rangers, his first time, I should say. I'm okay putting him towards the end of the A tier. I don't know if I'm ready to put him in the B tier yet because he does bring, the extras to the lineup into the categories in terms of hits and stuff like that. And he's going to get a lot of minutes with the Rangers here. They're going to play a ton out of him. He's expected to shoulder a heavy load. They already, Mike Sullivan said that they plan on putting Zibanejad on his right side. So already that gives you some good vibes there. So let's put him in the A tier.
Yeah, listen, if you thought he bullied Elias Pettersson, he's about to bully Mika Zibanejad into whatever he was dealing with, and last year with that just poor effort. But yeah, JT Miller is going to drive that team, and there will be no passengers. He is going to drive everybody with him, and he's going to do it by example. He's going to pick up score goals, rack up assists, throw his body out there. He's not going to slow down.
And they're giving him a guy like Will right now, scheduled to be Will Cooley on the left side that goes out and does all the other stuff. So JT Miller maybe doesn't have to worry about that stuff as much. But nonetheless, listen, I'm excited about the Rangers top six this year. If Lafreniere can get going with Trocheck and Panarin. But again, it does leave a little bit of a question of who that third line center is going to be down the middle there. So, that's what training camp's for. We'll see who emerges. That's not what we're doing today. Today, we're tier ranking the top 25 right wings via Yahoo ADP for the tier ranking here. Jason Robertson, are we still okay with Robertson? Are we still in the A tier, or is he leading off the B tier? Because I lean towards leading off the B tier, but I could, I'm okay with him being at the end of the A tier.
No, he can't be in the A tier. The production has been there, but he's been really inconsistent of late. The last couple of years, the shot volume is just not there. Like sometimes, like he has the skill. There's no question about it, but like there's too many gaps sometimes in his play, and I don't like that.
All right, so I'm not done with the A tier yet because I know one guy I want to put up there that's not going to get any argument from either of us is Mr. Tage Thompson. Hopefully we're better with falling in love with the Sabre this time around because it did not work so well for Devon Levi. But nonetheless, there's a lot of reasons to be excited about Tage Thompson. We thought he was omitted from Team USA wrongly for Chris Kreider last year. Speaking of the former Ranger, Ant's checking in. Excited about the Rangers, but not about those Centennial jerseys. I don't love them. I think they're fine. I think you guys are being a little too harsh. Like, yes, it's supposed to be bland because it's supposed to be the celebration of their 100th anniversary. It's supposed to be and they can't go with that dark navy blue because they've already done that a bunch.
That is the worst jersey I've ever seen.
Okay.
That is a Friday 4 p.m. we had to put this together. That is a college hockey jersey from a $1 billion franchise. That's what it just says. Rangers. They slapped on the worst color blue they found, the red stripes, some white, and they just said, "Hey, hit the send button." The patch is cool. I think the patch is fine, but that whole jersey is miserable. It's terrible, and they should burn it.
The reaction I've seen from the fan base has mostly been okay with it, but nonetheless, I it's not a jersey I'm going to run out and buy, but I don't mind it. I think it's fine. I think it's okay. So there we go. So no argument with Tage Thompson being in the A tier. As we look at this list here, is there anybody else where you for sure are saying A tier, or are we firmly in the B tier? Candidates for a potential A tier inclusion would include maybe a Clayton Keller, Adrian Kempe, or are we in the B tier?
We're definitely in the B tier.
All right, so I'm going to just throw so if Robertson's there, Keller belongs there. I'm putting Kempe there because he gets you hits too.
Yeah.
Jesper Bratt, no problem with that. I wasn't even trying to rhyme, but that worked out pretty well. Is there anybody else here that firmly belongs in the B tier? Are we talking to Connor Bedard on a bounce back? Marty Natchez possibly filling the Rantanen role, obviously not to the same level, but could still produce a decent amount, especially skating next to McKinnon. Ovechkin, we've talked about, any of these other guys that were like, all right, definitely B tier.
Definitely B tier. We're not going to disrespect Cole Caulfield because he's going to score 40 at some point, and he's as close as he's ever been to it right now. He gets another proven superstar in Ivan Demidov to help take some of the pressure. He's not the only pure goal scorer on this team. A healthy Patrick Laine means that at least your opponent has to respect the others, and that's going to open up some space for him. He was already good when he was the only option. I can't imagine how much better he's going to be once there's, others who can take off some of the load from here. I would put Marty Natchez in that group. Rumors are like he doesn't want to sign in Colorado. I don't know if how true that if I'm Marty Natchez, I don't want to leave Colorado. Because if I get to play next to Nathan McKinnon, that's going to put some dollar bills.
That's quite the gravy train.
Yeah. Listen, I would ride that. I would ride that train all the way to the bank.
I am bathing in that gravy. I don't care.
He's going to play so much hockey, and he's got the spot, right? He's got the power play time. He's going to be attached to McKinnon's hip. He's not a centerman. Like, he doesn't really play center. He doesn't take faceoff. So it's not like Rantanen where he could play center. So they tried it at times when they didn't have depth. Like, Natchez is a winger. and he has the speed to compete in the way that Colorado wants to play, which is up and down the ice. So I don't know, man. Maybe the restaurants in Denver are really bad, but
No, I've been to Denver. It's good food there.
never been. But I can't imagine it being worse in Carolina. So I mean, this seems like a great spot for him. I don't know. I don't know how much I believe in it, but I think his value goes up just because of who he's attached to.
I couldn't agree more. And here's the thing: he's not going to do everything that Mikko Rantanen did when he was on that spot with Nathan McKinnon. But take a guy like Nature, so let's face it, was held back in Carolina due to lack of strong offensive talent. You know, I know most teams don't have a Nathan McKinnon, but and they have Aho, but that never really worked. Aho and Natchez. He's now next to McKinnon, guy who goes third overall in fantasy drafts. He's a perennial, candidate for the Hart Trophy. You know, Arturi Lehkonen, is going to do all the dirty work and all the other stuff on the other side of the line. There is Natchez is a guy that I haven't been getting in drafts because I'm waiting too long on him, and I'm not ready to pay the cost just yet for he could be a potential guy that's been sneaking at the end of the third round, fourth round. See where he goes today. Yeah, I got no problem putting him to close out the B tier. We do have about 9 guys left that have to fill out the C and D tier. So now we're in the C tier. Listen, Matthew Tkachuk, we said would be higher, but already we know he's going to miss 2 months, and we know they're going to be careful with him and have him nice and fresh for March, April, and beyond. So that really hurts you from a fantasy perspective because we don't really, March is important, but you got to get to March. So we're going to put Ovechkin there. We're going to put Bedard there, and he does have that bounce back potential for sure. But, and Ryan Donato is good, but, he doesn't necessarily have a great cast around him either. Brandon Hagel, no problem throwing him there. We got next year. We got Mr. Matvey Mishkov. We've got Wyatt Johnston, and we got Seth Jarvis, who's got the triple position eligibility here. So, but who else are we putting in this C tier, and where are we drawing the line for the D tier?
I would put Jordan Kyrou in there, right? We talked about him earlier. He gets a spot. I think Jordan, somebody's got to score in St. Louis. Somebody's got to do the dirty work, right? And as long as he's playing next to Robert Thomas, he's going to cook, let him cook. That's what it is, right?
That's basically a perfect pairing, a pass first center that is sublime with his passing and a guy who just has an absolute trigger. I mean, listen, I know Thomas and Kyrou is not, something you're going to write home about for elite top lines in the league, but it's very underrated.
And you know what Robert Thomas is going to give you? No shots, no goals, no hits, no block shots, 60+ assists. You're signing up for the Temu.com version of Nick Backstrom. That's what you're buying with him. So Kyrou's going to be the beneficiary to it. Michkov kind of closes out that C tier, and I would put him at the back for sure. We saw flashes of him once Tortorella left. I think everybody eased off a little bit, and he's got the skill. The Flyers have enough skill around them to help him. We'll see.
Listen, if we're doing potential, if we're giving Tage Thompson the end of the A tier because of the potential he's got this year, then Mishkov, like we said, a full season of no Tortorella. So they're starting clean this year. They're going to start the way they want to play. There's not going to be any of that stuff that he had to deal with early in the season. Yeah. The Flyers are not a playoff team. They're going to be a fun team to watch this year. They're going to be interesting to keep an eye on. But before we continue on, because we are flying through these tier rankings here, and we do have State of Survival checking in. Of course, just got here as this right wing. It sure is. And Ivan Demidov, he is not top 25 Yahoo ADP at his position yet. So I will say the 5 that did not make the cut, that will say 25 to 30, was Lucas Raymond, Valerie Nichushkin, Nikolai Ehlers, Timo Meyer, and Travis Konechny again. So Konechny being out on left wing and right wing. All these guys going into D tier. Is there anybody else that belongs in the C tier? You got Drake Batherson, Seth Jarvis, Alex DeBrincat, and Wyatt Johnston. Johnston's the only one I could make an argument for, but I would probably have him start the D tier.
They're all D players there.
Okay.
I know. And it wasn't hard at that point. I think maybe Seth Jarvis is the only one who doesn't get enough love. But again, I think that's just because the way Carolina plays. They're not set up to be a team that's going to go out there and push the pace offensively. They don't go out. They don't that's the team that they are. They go far, they're consistently eliminated in the Eastern Conference Final. So the consistency is there. It's just they don't play fun fantasy hockey. They play like every coach wants them to play, or exactly like Rob Brudnamore wants them to play, which is tight defensively, good checking team, well in all three zones. That's them.
Here's the other thing I'll say too, as we get the tier up on the screen there, so you can see how we're finishing up there. Last year, Seth Jarvis was playing on the right wing on the top line, so that increases. He had 35 and 37 last year, or 32 and 35, excuse me. He's gonna probably be centering that second line with Taylor Hall. You know, Hall is a goal scorer, so he's gonna be hopefully become, not hopefully, but likely to become more of a pass first guy there too on the second line. So I don't got a problem putting him down there. You know, Drake Batherson and Alex DeBrincat to me are perfect. Of if you're just talking amongst the top 25, those are D tier guys. Those are still, you know, good, you know, right wing twos. If you get to that point in the draft and you need to get one, that's certainly not a bad one to grab. Wyatt Johnston, I know Ant's big on him. That's one of his guys. You know, he's got to do it this year again. He does that, he moves up, I think. But I think we've pretty well achieved a strong grouping here. I don't really see, you know, I'm sure somebody will complain and be like, how could you have this guy here and this guy here? But within the tiers, as we have a couple of minutes here, are there any orders you would change within those tiers?
No, this is 100% correct. By the way, this is 100% correct. We've come. We have, you know, we've done our part. We've put together the best lineup possible. So I mean, maybe it's missing Demidov, but you know what? He's not top 25 yet. Not yet.
I'm going to make a slight tweak. I'm going to put Keller over Robertson. That's going to be, and I'm tempted to, but Robertson has the ability to get back to where he was a couple of years ago. So I'll leave him where he is. But yeah, I think we've got it. We've done it. It's good to go.